If you are watching this video, then you have seen my Instagram post and you are wondering what I mean. To refresh both your memory and mine, I'm going to read the post that I put on Instagram. Again, just to refresh our memories. This year's New Year's resolution is probably one of the most personal ones I've done for myself. 2019 might have been my best year, however, I personally feel like my mentality was all over the place. And then I put in parentheses, I'll be making a video that will cover the details on what I'm talking about, which is this right here. My New Year's resolution for 2020 is to be a better me. Yes, I know it's cliche. However, I have good reasons. And then I said I'd work on it this week/this weekend, and I didn't get a chance to until now. So when I say that my mentality was all over the place, I mean there were too many times for my own personal liking that I was not happy. Let me give a few examples. There was one point in the fall semester that I began panicking just out of nowhere. I was panicking because I had a lot of stuff to do and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get them done in time. I made a group chat and, I wrote a really long message to the group chat, pretty much saying, I'm not doing okay, I need help, please, somebody help me. I wasn't at the point where I was thinking about, doing that. I don't really need to give details. However, I could feel that I was getting close to that point. Another situation was a group of friends that I have went out to the shopping center, and I believe I had something going on the night they went out, and I jokingly said to them, wow, thanks for inviting me. And then they just left me on red, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Glad to see you don't care. That hurt. And I've moved on from that. I'm not holding any grudges. I really am not. Trust me. Another situation was relatively the same group. We're going out to a diner. It was a diner that I really liked going to as well. And I was trying to get, when they were gonna leave. But then I finally got a response, and the response was, oh, I'm sorry, we already left. And that one really hurt. Especially because, I wasn't at a good place and I wanted to be with friends to help get my mind off of stuff, but then it turned out I missed a chance. Those kinds of things kind of made my 2019 kind of rough, and part of it is most likely from the fact that I overthink about things way too much. And I mean way too much. Here's a really good example. There would be times where I'd want to text somebody, but I would begin thinking about oh, maybe they're at work, or oh, maybe they're busy. And those thoughts would just clutter my mind. And I'd literally start asking myself, well, should I or should I not? Sometimes it even got to the point where I began thinking about things that were not true, like the person didn't like me, the person hated me, that kind of stuff. And I know for a fact that in those situations that's not true, because clearly I've texted them before and they don't hate me. I've had conversations with them and all that fun stuff. So the fact that I started thinking that they hated me wasn't really good. But yeah, that kind of stuff was what was happening in 2019, and that didn't help at all. And it also didn't help that I didn't feel like I had people to turn to, because I have people who say to me a number of times, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need anything. And I got to a point where I was like, if you're really here for me, then prove it. I find it hard to believe that you're actually here for me if you hardly talk to me, if you don't even interact with me, and that kind of stuff. And kind of childish stuff, I guess. I don't know if it's really childish, but anyway. Another part that didn't really help was, and this is kind of a good and a bad thing, I finally went on a date with, well, actually, no. I don't know if I should say on a date, because I went on 2 dates, but they were with different people. The first date I thought went really well, but it turned out that the guy I went out on a date with didn't feel anything, and he started ghosting me. And I've gotten over him and may or may not hold a little something against him, but that happens sometimes. And then the second date I went out on went so much better. So much better than the first one. I kid you not. It went well enough that the guy came over to my room a night before Thanksgiving break. But then after that, from that point on, it kind of started getting a little harder to talk to him. And part of it was my own fault, which I'll get to in a sec. But it also probably didn't help that we went out close to Thanksgiving break, and that's right around the end of the semester. So starting a relationship at that time in the semester isn't really a good idea. I even knew that, but at the time, I wasn't really worried about that. And thinking back on it, now I'm like, yeah, it was probably best that you didn't start a relationship at that time because finals, and we all know how finals can be. And pretty much what happened was we got to a point where the guy and I wanted to watch a movie, and I knew that he was waiting for something. I just, at the time, couldn't figure out what he was waiting for me to do. And this might be getting a little too personal, but I was texting a friend about what was going on because I had told her about the date and they wanted me to keep them posted. So, like I said to them, I think he's waiting for me to ask him to join him on the bed, but I don't know how to ask that without feeling awkward about it. And, I finally asked, and his reaction was, "Finally, it took you 40 minutes." And in the moment, my first thought was it really that long? I didn't realize it was that long. But now that I'm looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, waiting 40 minutes is never a good thing. And I think what made it even worse was the fact that he was keeping track of time because I noticed that he kept checking his phone. And I didn't really think too much about it at the time, but then, you know, he was keeping track of time because of me. And it didn't really help that I don't have much experience when it comes to relationships. It's just something I haven't had luck with. But then it wasn't until Christmas break had started that I realized that the guy was avoiding me. And, it really hurt for a while because I'm pretty sure I did. I had gotten feelings for this guy, and I guess he did at one point, but then as time went on, those feelings went away. And, those kinds of things happen sometimes. I haven't actually even been in a relationship, but I really thought I had a chance with this guy, but I guess I didn't. And I still kind of feel like that even today, but it's not as bad as it was at the end of 2019. That kind of brought the ending of my 2019 down, especially, but I ended 2019 much better than how it had been going because I was home. I got to spend time with my best friend who is now going to be attending my college next semester. I can't wait to see her every day at college. It also helped that I was spending time with family at the end of 2019, so that got my mind off of stuff. But thankfully, my 29 not 2019, what the heck am I thinking? My 2020 has been going so much better. I've been happier overall, much, much happier, even though I'm not in a relationship or anything like that. I've been happy with myself. I know it's only the seventh day into the new year, but last year I would have already gotten to a point where I was really upset with myself. And now a year later, I'm still really happy and haven't really been down in the dumps once. I'm really happy about that. And it kind of helps that I've been keeping myself busy between trying to work hours, spending time with my best friend, and my best friend got me back into TikTok. My username is jtmg_official if you want to follow me, if you haven't already, but that's not the point of this. Since I've gotten back into TikTok, I've noticed that I've started acting more like myself. When I say acting like myself, I mean acting how I want to be. You know, like being comfortable with myself. And even though I live in an area where LGBTQ isn't really accepted around here, if you lived in this area, you would know. Trust me. And it does get accepted by a few people, but the vast majority of this area does not really accept LGBTQ, which makes it difficult at times. But that's not the point. I'm just finally acting like myself. I'm finally acting like the way I want to be, being happy, being thankful for everyone that I've met and everyone that I've met and everything that I've had, whether it be experience, music that I've listened to, like everything. I am so thankful for it because it's made me who I am today. Whenever I get down, I need to not listen to depressing music and I need to remind myself, talk to somebody. Don't let yourself stay depressed because if you let that happen, it's only going to continue. And here, because 2019, I made a playlist that was entitled Sad Boy Music, BOI Boy. And I'm going to be doing a thing that will help me so much more. Remove. Delete from my library. And it's gone. I'm so happy I did that. Because I kept doing that. I kept listening to depressing music whenever I was down, and that does not help. It it just doesn't. It might feel okay in the music, in the moment. I can't English. But it doesn't help. It really doesn't. And I'm saying that from personal experience. Basically, the gist of this video was to say, especially now that I'm a little bit further into 2020, basically my fall semester of 2019 was honestly kind of shitty. But at the same time, there were a few good things that happened, like going on some dates, getting more experience in relationships, because, you know, your boy hardly has any experience in that. My 2020 has been going far better. I may have hesitated a few times whenever I was talking about stuff, but I want you to know that everything that I said in this video was true. And I mean every word of it. Especially whenever I say that my 2020 is going a lot better. For example, like I mentioned, my friend got me back into TikTok, and since getting back into TikTok, not only have I started uploading multiple videos a day, I don't know how I'm doing it, but I am. I'm following cosplayers, and that's kind of given me inspiration to try cosplay. I have a TikTok of the top 4 characters or people I want to cosplay as. I have a list of everything that I need, but now it's okay, you gotta get all the stuff that you don't have already, and that's probably gonna cost you some money. But that's okay, just as long as I actually do it and not end up not doing it and just letting it sit there. That may have sounded a little confusing. If it didn't, cool. If it did, I'm sorry. Like I've said a number of times, my 2020 is going a lot better, and I really mean it.